Did you know if you're a farmer, you can get your low tunnels paid for by the NRCS? Through a recently launched government program, farmers can get between $4 and $5 per square foot in reimbursement towards a Quick Hoops low tunnel system. That's free money to help increase production on your farm. Learn more about Quick Hoops and the NRCS program at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below. I know you did a study looking at different forms of irrigation, and you've alluded to this a little bit. The most common forms of irrigation here in the States would be drip and then just overhead sprinkler. So when I think about the two, and I guess microjets are going to be similar to an overhead in terms of coverage. When I think of drip, you get a concentration on one point of the soil, and then it kind of bubbles out over time. When you get a microjet or sprinkler, it's like rain. You're applying it evenly over the surface. How should growers think about irrigation systems and the differences between a microjet or overhead versus drip, and how that could affect plant growth?
Firstly, the most important thing is the efficiency of these systems. Drip irrigation is very efficient. So the amount of water is required is very, very low compared to the microjet. And for drip irrigation, we use them in several agroecosystems, for several crops, especially for tree crops, for peach, for example, for nectarines, for olive. And it is very, very efficient, and we cover on average the 20% of the soil surface. This system has many advantages from an environmental point of view, because the wet soil is less, and in the wet soil we have the highest losses of carbon as carbon dioxide, because soil respiration is very, very high. So we have losses of carbon and losses of organic carbon, but concentrated just where the drip system is located. If we apply microjet, of course, we must use much more water. The efficiency is 65-75%, and we can cover almost the whole soil. And also in this case, it depends on the crop. It depends on the root system. So the choice of an irrigation system is based mainly on the water availability, firstly, but especially on the architecture and morphology of the roots of the crop. So if a root is concentrated, is below the plant, is a taproot, is along the soil profile, it is deep. A drip irrigation can be fine. If the roots are shallow, or they are concentrated in the first layers of the soil, in that case, microjet is preferred. And also in this case, from my experience, we have crops that are that need a microjet. For example, kiwi fruit is like that. And other ones that are better with drip irrigation. With drip irrigation, we have many benefits, environmental benefits and economical benefits.
So in thinking about that, I mean, that makes sense. If the crops that get most of their benefit in the upper soil profile, then you want that to be as wet as possible, because that's where their roots are. That's where you want biological activity. If the plants are going deeper with their roots, then drip's okay, because the water's just going down, and it's not covering as much of that upper band. That's the basic gist of it?
Yeah. That's the basic reason. of the choice. And of course, mostly depends on the water availability in the place where you cultivate. And in fact, drip irrigation was discovered and applied in Israel, for example. They are expert in this, but now it is spread in all the Mediterranean basin for tree crops, for example. So it depends on the crop and on the crop density and the water availability,
Right.
the choice. So it is not a matter of arid or wet climate, but it depends on the density and on the root morphology.
Hello, growers. Want to boost your sales, reach new customers, and streamline your sales process, all from your home office? Ready Farmer 1, my book, is your ultimate guide to making it happen. Imagine increasing your farm's revenue without ever spending a Saturday at the farmer's market. The book will show you how to create, design, and market an online farm store, learn from real farmers sharing real stories about how they move their stores online, freeing up their weekends and increasing their sales. Get my book, Ready Farmer 1, on Amazon and transform your farm business today.